We're going to go ahead and dive in right now into some Cardano TA because as you guys probably have seen, Cardano has broken the all-important resistance level of $3. And I know the question on all of your minds, where does Cardano go next? Is Cardano going to $3.50? Is it going to $4? Is it going to $50? And if so, when? How is Cardano going to break $3 and continue to rally beyond this? And what are we going to see next? Well, the first thing that we need to do is start out here on the daily chart and look at some of our basic technicals. The first thing that we need to look at is a pattern that has played out more easily spotted on the 4-hourly chart, and that is a symmetrical triangle pattern. You can see this pattern with a downtrending level of resistance here starting all the way back on August the 23rd when I turned 21, and we have had a downtrend ever since then. We also had an uptrending level of support that has been in play ever since the 26th of August, and in fact you could even argue that this trend line goes even farther back, touching some of these tops back here. It's always interesting to see just how far a trend line can go. If you look back here, this trend line has actually been in play for a very long time, used as resistance going all the way back to the 18th of July. Nevertheless, this symmetrical triangle pattern is so important because, as you guys know, symmetrical triangle patterns, break out. They result in consolidation of the market. They result in the market losing some of its volatility, losing some of its volume, but trading that for potential. It's a little bit like moving a ball up a hill. You are trading all the kinetic energy for the potential energy, and as soon as you let that ball go, it'll roll back down and you'll release that kinetic energy. That's what we're seeing happen right here. The volume obviously declined over the past several days. Not by a massive amount, but definitely a recognizable amount. And we can also look at our Bollinger Bands, and we'll see that the Bollinger Bands signify that the volatility on Cardano also declined. We also saw a little bit of pullback in retail interest, but not much because the hashtag ADA gang represent in chat are so excited about Cardano. And I think a lot of you guys out there believe strongly that Cardano is going back, or not back, going to $3.50, $4, etc. Nevertheless, we saw that we moved almost 95% of the way through this symmetrical triangle pattern. We normally don't do that. Yeah. Normally, when you're in a symmetrical triangle pattern, you will move about 70% of the way into it. What this signifies is that I personally don't think the bulls are quite as strong right now as they were a couple of weeks ago, and here's why. If the bulls were super strong and we were going to blast off to $4 in the next couple of days, I think we're going to $4. I just don't think it's going to be in the next week. If we were so strong that we were going to moonshot super fast over $1 higher than where we are now, we probably would have broken the symmetrical triangle pattern 60 to 70% of the way through, not where we are right now, which is 95% of the way through the symmetrical triangle pattern. Look at it this way. The earlier that you break out of a symmetrical triangle pattern, the stronger the force that broke out of it is. So if you break to the upside out of a symmetrical triangle pattern halfway through, then that signifies that the bulls are very strong because the battle, if you will, inside of the symmetrical triangle pattern didn't last that long. If you break to the downside half of the way through the symmetrical triangle pattern, then the battle didn't last that long, but the bears won. So in that case, the bears are the ones that are strong. If, however, you trade 95% of the way through a symmetrical triangle pattern, it means there's a stalemate going on, which means that the bulls are not much stronger than the bears, but they are stronger than the bears, even if not by that much. Nevertheless, that's a little bit of advanced technical analysis on how you look at symmetrical triangle patterns. It's important, but you get the point. If we look at some of our other technical indicators, just to kind of run through our list, make sure we're not missing anything. TD sequential is not overextended. We're solid here. We're sitting at 2, so we're not looking at a 9 flash coming in here. On the 20 exponential moving average out on the daily chart, we're still well above that. We haven't even had to go down and test it as support, which is a good sign for anybody who is in Cardano. It means that your cryptocurrency is very bullish right now. Looking at our moving averages, I'll go ahead and turn all 4 of them on. You can see that there is what is known as a bullish alignment of moving averages. We have the 20 above the 50, which is above the 100, which is above the 200. That is a bullish alignment of moving averages, and that's what you want to see happen if you are expecting a market to remain bullish and continue with a consistent upwards trend. Looking at our oscillators down here, we can see that Cardano broke bearish briefly, but now that we broke into the, we broke bearish briefly, but now that we broke into the upside on the price action chart, that is now reversing. You can see that the histogram reversed yesterday, and we've started to see bullish convergence on the MACD. Now, this was a point of concern for a lot of people on Cardano, that there was a bearish MACD cross right up here at the top. A lot of people, including myself, were saying, we need to keep an eye on this. We're seeing that Cardano is moving far through this symmetrical triangle pattern. It means the bulls and the bears are at a stalemate. Cardano wants to be very careful because this bearish MACD cross could result in a correction, a drop below support around $2.86, which we see on VPVR. We'll get to that in a second. That didn't happen. We broke to the upside. Like I was telling you guys a couple of days ago, we need to see which way Cardano is going to break. We need to see if the bulls or the bears are going to win the little battle that they're having in between $2.80 and $3. So far, it looks like the bulls have the upper hand. The battle's not decided yet, but it certainly looks like it's in their favor. What I want to see happen over the next couple of days is, number one, I want to see Cardano hold above its critical support that it has built over the last couple of days, mainly here at $2.85 to $2.86. That is our VPVR maxima. If you guys use the VPVR, there is something called the VPVR maxima, or the maximum, and that is where the level on the VPVR is the highest. Think about the VPVR as a sideways mountain. If you're sitting right up here on the very top of VPVR, think of yourself as a little ball, and if you start rolling in one direction, you're probably going to roll all the way down the mountain in the direction that you rolled. We just so happen to roll in the bullish direction, which is a good sign, and it is indicative that the bulls are winning. The way that we can look at this is that now if Cardano wanted to pull all the way back up below 285, it's got to push itself all the way uphill to get back to 285 before we can start rolling the other way. So that's a very good sign for anyone who is in Cardano. We definitely have strong support beneath us. Here's what I want to see happen on Cardano, and then we're going to kind of wrap all this up in a nice, neat bow. I want to see more volume, number one. I want to see more volatility, number two. And I want to see Cardano rally higher than $3.04. Why? Well, first of all, because I like Cardano and I want it to succeed. But number two, $3.04 is barely above $3. In fact, it might as well not even be above $3, because when you look at support and resistance levels, they don't act as flat two-dimensional levels. They act as zones of probability. So even though we're at $3.04 and we're technically above $3, we're almost, in a way, not above $3 because we're still in the catchment area of that $3 zone. We're not at 320 where we've clearly broken it. We have not clearly and definitively and decisively broken $3. We're above it, but we're not closed above it. We haven't seen a lot of volume, which you would want to see on the breakout of a symmetrical triangle pattern. We've not seen an increase in volatility that is major like you would want to see on the breakout of a consolidation pattern. So the bulls have the upper hand right now. They have not fully won. I'm going to talk about my shorter term and my medium term price predictions on Cardano. I do have very bullish price predictions on Cardano, but for the short term, and by the short term I mean the next couple of days, I want to see a little bit more momentum coming out of Cardano. I want to see it move up to at least $3.10. Then I'm going to be more confident on everything we're going to talk about here in just a second.